In my last video, I talked about finding the distance between 2 points. Well, another topic that frequently goes along with that is finding the midpoint between 2 points, or I guess I should say the midpoint of a line segment created by connecting 2 points. So since I already talked about finding the distance between them, I wanted to show you how to find the midpoint between those 2 points. So that's exactly what we're going to be going over today in this video. And similar to that other video, there is a nice kind of shortcut, easy way that you can find the midpoint between 2 points. And I'm going to show you how to do it that way today. So by the end of this video, you should kind of have that easy blueprint that you can apply to really any problem like this to find the midpoint between 2 points. If that sounds good to you, be sure to stick around to the end of the video and let's go ahead and jump on into it. Find the midpoint of the line segment joining these points. So essentially, the line segment joining these 2 points is this orange side whose length we just found, the distance between those 2 points. We need to now find where would the midpoint of this line be? Well, just like we were able to find the distance between those 2 points, just simply using a formula, we can also find the midpoint of these 2 points, or the line segment formed by these 2 points, by just simply using a formula. So let me erase this distance stuff here because we already found that. We don't need that anymore. So again, we still have this x2, this x1, y1, x2, y2. It's still the same points, but now what we need to do is find the coordinates of the midpoint that we get from this line segment that connects these 2 points. So again, we're going to basically just use a formula here. The midpoint formula just tells us that the midpoint of x1, y1, x2, y2 is just going to be found by x1 plus x2 over 2 is our x coordinate, and y1 plus y2 over 2 is our y coordinate. So essentially where this formula comes from is the x coordinate is just the average of our x coordinates of our 2 points, and the y coordinate is just the average of the y coordinates of our 2 points, right? To find the average of two numbers, you just add them together and then divide them by 2. So if you add your x coordinates, x1 plus x2, and then divide it by 2, that just gives you the average of your x coordinates. Similarly, if we just add our y coordinates, y1, y2, and then divide them by 2, or divide the result by 2, that's just the average of your y coordinate. So your x coordinate's just average of x's, your y coordinate is just average of y's. So basically our midpoint should be x1 plus x2, so 1 plus 6 all over 2. And our y coordinate should just be y1 plus y2, so 12 plus 0 all over 2. Okay, so then just simplifying that, we get 1 plus 6 is 7 over 2, and 12 plus 0 is 12 over 2. Then we could simplify these. 7 halves doesn't really simplify, so we can just leave that as 7 halves. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. So this coordinate right here, that is the midpoint between these two coordinates, is 7 halves, which is, I guess you could write it as a decimal if you wanted. So you could either say 7 halves and 6, or if you wanted, you could write it as a decimal and say 3.5 and 6. So that would be the coordinates of this midpoint right here. The method we just talked about in this video is super helpful, and you're definitely going to want to keep note of the formula we talked about here, but you're also going to want some more information. This info by itself is not quite going to cut it. So be sure to click on that video over there where I talk about how to find the distance between 2 points. Once you have both of these topics down, you should be in much better shape. So go click that video and let's keep this brain train rolling.